Cold air wrapped around Redstone Correctional Facility, a high-security prison buried deep in the deserts of Arizona, the kind of place where silence itself felt dangerous. It was just past midnight when Officer Daniel Cross, a seasoned canine handler, walked the East Corridor with his partner, Rex, a Belgian Malinois trained for tracking and takedowns. Rex's ears stayed alert, muscles tight, every sense switched on. Daniel trusted Rex more than any human partner. They had served together for 4 years, night shifts mostly. Nothing unusual ever happened on Daniel's watch, until tonight. A sudden alarm pierced the quiet. Red lights flashed. Radios exploded with frantic voices. "Escape attempt! Cell Block D!" Daniel's heart dropped. Cell Block D was supposed to be locked down. He sprinted toward the block with Rex pulling hard on the leash, growling low. When they reached the cell, the truth hit them like a punch. The cell door was open. Inside, the bed was empty. The inmate, Marcus Hale, a former smuggler with a history of violence, was gone. Search teams flooded the prison, cameras were checked, dogs were deployed, but the desert beyond the outer fence swallowed everything. By sunrise, Marcus Hale had vanished. And someone had to take the blame. Internal affairs moved fast, too fast. Reports claimed Daniel had skipped a routine lock check earlier that night, a small error, one he didn't remember making, but enough to raise doubt. Despite years of spotless service, Daniel was suspended without pay pending investigation. "You're lucky you're not fired," the warden said coldly. "Turn in your badge and the dog stays here." That part hurt the most. Rex barked and strained as Daniel walked away without him, confusion clear in the dog's eyes. Daniel didn't look back. If he did, he might break. Days passed. News reports painted Daniel as careless. Online comments called him incompetent. The department went silent. No calls, no updates. But Daniel knew one thing deep in his gut. Marcus Hale didn't escape by luck. Someone helped him, or something had been planned long before that night. Then, late one evening, Daniel received an anonymous message on his phone. No number, just words. "You didn't lose him. He wants you to chase him." Attached was a grainy photo, boot prints in the desert, fresh. And one detail stood out. The prints were moving toward the mountains. Daniel clenched his fists. If the system wouldn't clear his name, he would, and there was only one way to do that. He needed Rex back. But breaking rules to hunt an escaped convict would cost him everything, unless he succeeded. Daniel steps into the shadows, ready to defy orders. But will Rex still trust him when it matters most? Daniel Cross stood outside Redstone Correctional Facility long after sunset, watching the guard towers light up one by one. He wasn't supposed to be here. His badge was inactive, his name flagged in the system, but his instincts, sharpened by years of night duty, told him the truth was still inside those walls. Rex. The anonymous message replayed in his mind. He wants you to chase him. Marcus Hale was smart, calculated. He knew how the system worked, and he knew Daniel's reputation. This wasn't just an escape, it was a message. Daniel contacted the only person who still trusted him, Officer Lena Morales, a logistics supervisor nearing retirement. She owed Daniel a favor from years ago. "I can't officially help you," she said quietly over a burner phone, "but canine kennels are short-staffed tonight. Cameras glitch around 2:30 a.m. That was all Daniel needed. At 2:27 a.m., he slipped through a side service gate wearing an old maintenance jacket. His heart pounded as he reached the kennels. The sound hit him instantly, Rex barking, sharp and urgent, as if he knew. "Easy, boy," Daniel whispered as he unlocked the gate. Rex lunged forward, whining, tail stiff, eyes locked on Daniel. For a second, Daniel feared the dog might hesitate. Then Rex jumped, front paws on Daniel's chest, licking his face like no time had passed. "I need you, partner." Daniel swallowed hard. They didn't leave quietly. As Daniel guided Rex out, a security light flickered on, a guard shouted, footsteps echoed. Daniel ran. They cleared the outer fence just as alarms began to rise, not the full lockdown kind, but enough to mean trouble. Daniel didn't stop until the prison disappeared behind the desert hills. By morning, they were miles out. Daniel pulled out the photo from the message. He let Rex sniff it. The dog's posture changed instantly, focus narrowing, nose to the ground. Rex started tracking north. For 2 days, they followed faint signs, disturbed sand, broken brush, ash from an old fire pit. Marcus Hale was experienced. He doubled back, crossed dry riverbeds, tried to confuse the trail, but Rex adapted every time. On the 3rd night, they found something new, a discarded prison shirt, blood on the sleeve. Daniel crouched beside it. Fresh, too fresh. Rex growled low, staring toward a narrow canyon ahead. Daniel realized something chilling. Marcus wasn't running anymore. He was slowing down, waiting. As hunter and hunted draw dangerously close, Daniel must face a terrifying question. What if Marcus planned this chase from the very beginning?
The canyon narrowed into jagged stone walls, tall enough to block the moonlight. Daniel Cross felt it immediately, the shift in the air, the unnatural quiet. Even the wind seemed hesitant. Rex slowed, muscles tight, nose twitching as if the trail itself was whispering danger. "This is wrong," Daniel muttered. Rex let out a short, sharp bark, his warning signal. Daniel considered turning back, calling it in anonymously, letting the authorities handle it. But the image of his suspended badge, the silence from the department, and Rex locked behind steel bars pushed him forward. They stepped into the canyon. Halfway through, the ground crunched beneath Daniel's boot. A wire snapped tight around his ankle. He went down hard. Before Daniel could react, a shadow moved above the canyon wall. A rock slammed inches from his head. Rex lunged forward, barking violently, snapping at the darkness. Man, a voice echoed, calm, almost amused. "Took you long enough, officer." Marcus Hale stepped into the moonlight, thinner, dirt-covered, but smiling. In his hand was a makeshift spear, crude but deadly. "You always trusted your dog more than people," Marcus said. "I counted on that." Rex snarled, pulling against the leash, ready to attack. Marcus backed up slightly, not afraid, just cautious. "You won't send the dog. You need me alive to clear your name." Daniel's mind raced. Marcus was right. Dead men didn't talk. Using his knife, Daniel slowly cut the wire around his ankle, never breaking eye contact. Marcus kept talking, stalling, probing. "You know why I escaped? Not freedom, exposure. Someone inside Redstone helped me, someone higher than you." Daniel's breath caught. Before he could respond, a flash erupted, smoke flooding the canyon. Marcus vanished into the haze. Rex tore free from Daniel's grip and chased. "Rex!" Daniel shouted, scrambling to his feet. Gunshots echoed. Daniel ran blindly through the smoke, heart hammering. When it cleared, Rex was standing still, nose low, blood on his shoulder, but alive. Marcus was gone again. Daniel wrapped Rex's wound with shaking hands. It wasn't deep, but it was a warning. Marcus wasn't just running, he was testing him. Daniel realized the truth too late. This wasn't a chase across the desert. It was a game, and Marcus was forcing Daniel to play by his rules. As dawn broke, Daniel found something carved into the canyon wall with a sharp object. One more move. With Rex injured and Marcus tightening the psychological trap, can Daniel outthink a man who's always 2 steps ahead?
Daniel carried Rex for nearly a mile before the dog insisted on walking again.
The wound slowed him, but his eyes stayed sharp, locked on the trail like nothing had changed. That loyalty cut deeper than any accusation ever had. By midday, they reached an abandoned ranger station tucked into the hills. Daniel patched Rex properly, using supplies left behind by hikers, bandages, antiseptic, water. Rex stayed still, watching Daniel's face, trusting him completely. That trust strengthened Daniel's resolve. Marcus Hale wasn't just an escaped inmate, he was leverage. Daniel powered on his old satellite phone, the one he used only in emergencies, and called the one person who could verify Marcus's claim, Captain Howard Mills, Internal Affairs. "You're not authorized to be out there," Mills said coldly. "Turn yourself in." "Marcus Hale says someone inside helped him escape, high-ranking." Silence. That pause told Daniel everything. "You find Hale and we'll talk," Mills finally said. The call ended. Daniel realized the danger had just doubled. By nightfall, Rex picked up a new scent: fuel, vehicles, civilization. Marcus was heading toward an old border highway, abandoned after a mining collapse. If he reached it, he'd disappear into the system forever. As they approached the highway ruins, Rex stopped suddenly and sat, his alert signal. Daniel spotted the movement too. A drone, small, black, silent. It hovered, then retreated. "They're watching us," Daniel whispered. Moments later, headlights appeared in the distance. Not police cruisers, not unmarked units, something else. Marcus's voice crackled through a stolen radio left on the ground. "Still chasing, officer? Good, because now you'll have witnesses." Gunfire erupted, not at Daniel, but near him. Warning shots. A staged scene. Daniel understood instantly. Someone inside the system wanted him dead, with Marcus's escape pinned permanently on him. Rex barked furiously as Daniel dragged him into cover. Rocks shattered, bullets sparked against metal. Daniel made a choice he never thought he would. He unclipped Rex's tracking harness. "If they take me, you run," he whispered. Rex refused to move. The gunfire stopped as suddenly as it started. Engines roared away. Silence returned, but heavier. On the cracked highway wall ahead, a fresh message was spray-painted: "Final round." Daniel stared at it, knowing the next move would decide everything: his freedom, his career, and Rex's life. As enemies close in from both sides, will Daniel expose the corruption, or will the system erase him before the truth comes out? The old border highway stretched like a scar through the desert, broken concrete glowing pale under the moon. Daniel moved slowly now, every step measured. Rex stayed close, silent, focused. Whatever Marcus Hale had planned, this was the end game. Rex suddenly froze. Daniel followed his gaze to the remains of a collapsed checkpoint. A fire burned low inside, its light revealing Marcus standing calmly, hands visible, no weapon in sight. "You made it," Marcus said. "I knew you would." Daniel didn't raise his gun. "You wanted attention. You've got it. Now talk." Marcus laughed softly. "You think I'm the villain? I was the evidence. I moved money for people who wear badges. I tried to expose it. That's why I was locked away, and why they helped me escape, then blamed you." Footsteps crunched behind Daniel. Captain Mills stepped into the firelight, flanked by armed men. "This ends now," Mills said. "Drop the dog." Rex growled. Marcus raised his voice. "Everything's recorded, Captain. Audio, names, accounts." Mills's expression changed. Fear. In one sudden motion, Mills fired. Rex launched. The dog struck Mills's arm, knocking the gun away. Chaos exploded. Shots fired. Men scattering. Daniel tackled Marcus to the ground, cuffing him as sirens wailed in the distance. This time, they were real. Backup arrived. Federal units responding to an anonymous data drop sent minutes earlier. Marcus's evidence went public before anyone could stop it. At dawn, Daniel stood outside the facility again, but this time
cleared of all charges. Mills was in custody, so were others. Rex received a medal. Daniel got his badge back. As they walked away together, Daniel knew one truth remained unchanged. Sometimes justice doesn't come from the system. Sometimes it comes from loyalty. But somewhere in the files Marcus released, one name remained redacted.